everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another one of my Gay Gamer video podcasts. I want to start by talking about the Build-A-Bear partnership with Nintendo to do Animal Crossing Build-A-Bears. They had announced it a little while back and said, give us your email and we'll let you know when it's happening. So I did that, and I got an email saying, hey, we're going to do a special preview sale, and click here to get in line. So I clicked there to get in line, and basically at 9:30, anywhere from 9:30 to 10, you could go to the website and click to join the line, and then at 10 o'clock they would just randomly put you in the line, and but randomly. So if you got there at 9:30 to get in line and someone else got in line at 9:59, they could be ahead of you. That sucks. But I didn't care, because clearly, I said, well, I'll just give it a shot. So I just left that browser open while I was doing my work. I left the tab open, checked it periodically. Basically, when they were like, okay, you're in line, your wait time is more than an hour. And I was like, okay. And I would check back periodically, and I would see the little bar fill up just ever so slightly. And that's when I was like, yeah, this isn't happening. And sure enough, I did not get in to buy any Animal Crossing Build-A-Bears. And I'm okay with that, actually, because right now it's just the Isabelle and Tom Nook Build-A-Bears, and they're really expensive. They're like $50 a piece, because there's a little sound chip, so you can either have the Animal Crossing theme, or you can have the of them speaking. Yeah, which is what I would prefer. If I was going to get one, I would get that. But I'm like, I already have plushes, and do I really need to spend $50 on a plush that I don't really need just because it talks? Not so much. But, I mean, I know that I've said in the past that I need everything Animal Crossing, but do I? Do I really? Now, this was just like a preview. So they are going to do an official launch where it will be available in the stores and online and whatever, but hopefully they'll add more characters, because I don't really need a Tom Nook or Isabelle plush. I've already got them. I'm good. Just because they're wearing their New Horizons outfits, I'm like, I mean, they're bigger and they make noise, which is cute, but I'm torn. So I would like them to make other characters. Specifically a character that I don't already have a plush of. A friend of mine suggested he wants Raymond, and I'm like, okay, they're not going to do villagers, because there's hundreds of villagers, and not everybody gets the villager. You only get a handful of villagers when you play the game. You get a small fraction of them, so you're not going to know. They're not going to do they're not going to do a Lopez plush, because me and a half a dozen other people are going to be excited to get a Lopez plush. And that's not enough to justify making one. But Raymond became weirdly popular amongst Animal Crossing fans who all desperately wanted him on their island, and I could see that selling well. He also suggested Stitches, which totally makes sense because it's an actual bear, so it would totally make sense for Build-A-Bear to do the teddy bear villager, Stitches. So if they did a Stitches one, and with the voice chip, that I would probably buy, because that's something that's different, that's new, that's really new, not just a voice chip new. But we'll have to wait and see if they add more characters, or if it's just going to be Tom Nook and Isabelle, and that's it, and I don't care, I don't know. Because I would be tempted, because like I said, I tend to buy lots of Animal Crossing stuff, like this new t-shirt, what I just got at Target. I happened to be there buying, houseware stuff, and then I happened to see this t-shirt, and I said, oh, an Animal Crossing t-shirt I don't have. It's very cute, let me get it. So, fingers crossed for more characters, more bears to build. Also, speaking of Animal Crossing, this past week was Bunny Day, which is not as annoying as it was last year, because I wasn't trying to fish for new fish for the museum all the time and getting eggs instead. Here I just ignored the eggs, except for the earth eggs, because I'm very OCD about keeping my island clean, so I have to go around and pick all the weeds, and pick up all the fallen branches, and I also dig up all the fossils because I can't abide those little holes bothering me. So I ended up getting a bunch of eggs when I was digging up the fossils. But basically, Bunny Day came around, Zipper was in the plaza being creepy, and he's like, build all my DIYs and I'll give you a special treat. And I said, okay. And so I basically just talked to him again, and he's like, hey, you built all my DIYs. I'm like, yeah, I know I did it last year, there weren't any new ones. And he's like, here's your special prize, here's a bunny wand. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, I already have one of these. But then I was like, no, I don't actually have a bunny wand, because what happened last year was your final reward was the bunny wand DIY. But it took items that I didn't feel like building because you had to do special things, and I was like, no. And I was like, I'm good. I don't need to build a bunny wand. Now that I have the DIY, I can build a bunny wand if I want. But now I don't have to, because he just gave me one this year. So I'm hoping maybe next year they add more, because they added more bunny, like I mentioned in the last episode, they added more Bunny Day items in the store, so you could have more decorations. But the actual holiday event and interacting with Zipper, it was the same. So I would like them to change that up a little next time. So we'll see what happens with future holidays, but I'm hoping that they mix things up to keep it interesting. Otherwise, it's going to be like in New Leaf, where the holiday comes around again and I don't even bother because it's just a pain in the butt. And it's not necessary because you already have all the reward. So we'll see what happens there. I also, weirdly enough, this past week, have not played any Control whatsoever. I think it's because I'm at a point, like I mentioned in the last episode, I'm at a point where I'm trying to get through this section where you have to like avoid the dark areas and go from the light area to the light area and not get killed on your way past the dark. And it's all like annoying, and I keep dying, and it's all very trial and error, and it's a little frustrating, whatever. So I think that like that's not really appealing. Like it's like, oh, let's go play some Control and get frustrated again, yay! And also the fact that I've basically finished the game, so mentally I feel like I finished Control. This is like DLC. I already finished the first DLC. This is the second DLC. And also it connects to Alan Wake, which I never actually played. I mean, I did play it a little. I remember, I think it came with my Xbox back in the day, and I like played it for a little while, but then like I didn't like it for some reason. This was a while back, I cannot tell you why, but I did not like it, and it didn't grab me, and I said, oh, whatever, and I didn't feel bad about giving it up and quitting because I didn't pay for it. It came free with my Xbox, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go play other things. Bye-bye. So this whole DLC means nothing to me. They keep making all these references to Alan Wake, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what that is, whatever. Like, I get that it's a reference, but I don't get the reference. So I wasn't in the mood to get frustrated, so instead of going back to try to finish that section of Control, since I've technically finished the game and I feel like I'm done with it, it's hard to make myself go back to do the DLC. I just went and played Moss instead, because Moss is just delightful and fun and a little frustrating, but not too bad. And it's just fun. And so I did get a little stuck, I will admit. There was a point where, since I put down Moss for a few days, when I went back to it, I was like, wait, what am I supposed to do here? I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do. Problem is, because it's a indie game, there's not like tons of walkthroughs on various websites for it, like you would with an Assassin's Creed or a Control or something. So it's a bunch of YouTube videos. And so I found a YouTube video, and I was fast-forwarding through it, which I would much rather scan text, but I'll fast-forward through a YouTube video if I have to. And then I'm like, wait, why didn't you go through the doorway? Why are you going over there? Why didn't you go through that little doorway? And that is when I realized that I've been playing the DLC. Apparently, about a year after the game came out, they released the Twilight Garden Dlc, which adds these bonus areas that you can go and play through and solve new puzzles and get new game mechanics and do all kinds of cool stuff. And that's what I've been doing. These little green glowy magic doorways have been taking me into the Twilight Garden with the magic frog, and I've been doing bonus DLC content in the middle of the game without realizing it. So, well integrated, I gotta say. But basically, so I had to... That's also where I discovered, in Googling, I discovered that there's a photo mode, sort of. They call it screenshot mode, because basically you don't move the camera, it's VR, so you're not like moving the camera and adjusting lighting and photography things, because it's VR, so it doesn't really do that. So they just call it screenshot mode, and basically you pause the game at any point and you click the right thumbstick, and then you can take a screenshot. Except I can't just take a screenshot. I have to try to make a virtual photo out of it. So what I would do is like I'll stand up and I'll reset the view so that it's up here and I can kind of move around it, and I'll lean back to get it to go back here so I can get into it, and it's like literally me, like, I must look like a complete fool because I'm like, click, you know, trying to get just the right angle on the image, and I'll take multiple pictures and try to find just the right angle and get it framed just so, and I look a fool leaning and twisting myself around, but I can't just take a screenshot. That's boring. So that was fun, and I took a whole bunch of screenshots, and that's been slowing me down just a little bit. But I was able to figure out what I couldn't figure out and finish that section. I would have figured it out, I think, eventually through trial and error, but this just saved me the time. And then I also admit to Googling the final boss of the DLC, this big crab thing that kept blowing me up and everything, and I'm just like, is there a trick that I'm not getting here? Because I can't seem to kill him. And I keep pounding away at him, and he just doesn't seem to get damaged at all. Like, what am I not doing? And it turns out, I Googled it, and it turned out a bunch of people had the same problem, and they were all Googling it, and it's all over Reddit and stuff, and people were like, no, you just gotta keep pounding away at him, it's fine. He won't show any damage until he's literally dead. Then he just explodes and you're done. That's when all the armor falls off and then he dies. And then he falls off the platform, and then Quill looks all cute and then goes like this, and then you get to high-five her, and then she does a little dance, and then she's like, give me another. And then it's like another dance, and then a third dance, which I was like, great. A triple victory dance is exactly warranted after this extremely difficult boss that took me a while to get past. And now I'm back in the main game again, and that's the end of the DLC. So now I can finish the main game, and I actually feel like I'm nearing the end of the main game. I don't think, being an indie VR game, it's a very long game, so I feel like I'm probably getting close to the end. There's this giant snake, and I gotta go figure out how to defeat it, and I'm just a tiny little mouse, and that's gonna be tricky. So hopefully I don't have to actually do it myself, and I get giant weapons or something, because it's a big snake. So, come back next episode, and I'll probably have some final impressions of Moss, and then some first impressions of whatever I decide to play next. Unless I decide to go back and play Control some more, and maybe I'll get past that. I don't know. It could be anything. Come back and find out. It's a mystery. Bye!